Hello guys, in this video I will talk about gap filling tasks and I will share with some strategies and techniques that are helpful for me to do this type of tasks. In general, there are no gap filling task type, but we have tasks like note completion, summary completion, flowchart completion, table, and sentence completion tasks. And I grouped them all into this one task type, which is gap filling, because you will have a gap which you have to fill with a word from the text. Alright, then let's get started. Here are some overall visual of each task that I'm gonna show now. Here, as you can see, it says complete the notes below. It means that is note completion. Here we see complete the summary below. It is a summary completion. Here I also show another summary completion, but this time it is a bit different than the previous one, as this one has a word list that you have to pick the words from. And also we've got a flow chart, which is not very common, although we have them. As you can see, it is a process and it really tests if you can follow the stages one by one using the instructions from the passage. So that's all about it. And also we've got a table completion. Here it says complete the table below. Although I actually did not find such a task type on many different passages of IELTS. I just stumbled upon this task which says complete the table below, and it doesn't quite look like a table, although I just included it in it as an example. Don't worry, it has almost similar kinds of strategies that you can apply for any type of gap filling task. And finally, we've got a sentence completion. As you can see, we've got sentences which are not related to each other at all. You just have to fill the gaps based on that sentence only. Okay, now before we start doing some of the tasks, let's talk about some strategies. So first of all, read the instruction very carefully. How many words are allowed? If it is not more than 2 words, writing 2 words, even if the correct answer is there, will not give you a point. And look at the missing word, okay? Yeah, obviously. We go and look at the part where a word is missing and we guess what word or word speech it could be. For example, it could be a number or a noun or a verb in third person singular and so on. And look at the words around the gap to identify keywords to locate the information in the text. Okay? And so you pay close attention to synonyms of words which closely match the meaning of the words from the question. So as you can see, after identifying keywords, you go to the passage and you skim and scan to find those keywords. Most of the times you might not find those words exactly the way they came to you in the questions. They might be given in a different way because they are paraphrased. That's why you have to be very careful. You have to know about synonyms and different ways of saying the same thing, paraphrasing. And we've got the final tip, find the word which is missing in the question to complete the meaning. So you just have the piece from the passage and you've got your question. You compare them together and see what word is missing to complete the sentence in your question, and you get that word from the passage. And let's talk about note completion. Here's a test I made on a Google form, so if you want to do this test on your own, you can just go to the link under this video and do it by yourself. And here I'm just gonna do this test in this video. So all the tests are taken from Cambridge IELTS books, so those are real tests. So here we've got this question, 21 to 24, complete the notes below, choose one word only, so we cannot write more than one. If we write 2 words, we know that we won't get a point even if the answer is correct. So let's look at the paragraph we are given, the step pyramid of Djoser. Alright, and here I want you to pay attention to one thing about note completion, that the task, actually the text that you are given in note completion is actually just one part of your passage. So it's kind of easy for you to focus only on that part rather than throughout the whole passage. So for this one, I actually found that it is similar to paragraph D in the passage, so I took that part, but in this video I just cut and put the pieces corresponding to certain sentences only. So the paragraph actually starts like this: when finally completed, the step pyramid rose 62 meters high and was the tallest structure of its time. As the complex in which it was built was the size of a city in ancient Egypt and included a temple, courtyard, shrines, and living quarters for the priests. And in our question, the complex that includes the step pyramid and its surroundings is considered to be as big as an Egyptian of the past. We know that the construction as something as actually is comparing and saying that two things are exactly the same. So the complex size is same as the size of Egyptian something from the past. So the word past and ancient from the text, they match. And we've got the word which is missing in our sentence to to fail to fit the meaning of the text from the passage, which is a city. So we just put it as the answer: Egyptian city of the past. Okay. The area outside the pyramid included accommodation that was occupied by, along with many other buildings and features. Alright, keywords here we've got accommodation, occupied, and many other buildings. In the next part of the text, we actually see after the ancient city, we actually have the continuation of the sentence: included a temple, courtyard, shrines. As you can see, all this can be grouped into just one word: buildings. And the living quarters, the word accommodation is similar to the word living quarters, as you can see, for the priests. And the word which is missing in our gap is priests. So next, a wall ran around the outside of the complex and a number of false entrances were built into this. In addition, a long encircled the wall. Okay, keywords: long encircled wall. So the word encircled, we actually find a word which is similar to circle, which is ring. So ringed, encircled, and the wall. The wall was ringed, encircled the wall. Those are almost the similar ways of saying the same thing. And it was then encircled by what? By a trench. And we already have that article air in the question, like a long. So that is the word trench which is missing. And the last one: as a result, any visitors who had not been invited were cleverly prevented from entering the pyramid grounds unless they knew of the real entrance. So the words which are key words are new and real entrance, because real entrance, we can find a similar phrase in our passage, which is true opening and no. So the word that is missing in our question is location. Then only it matches the meaning of the sentence from the passage. Okay, we've got summary completion here. And I just took this one as well. Actually, I showed you earlier that there are two types of summary completion. One comes with a list of words, the other does not. I took the one with a list. And here's the link to the test. And here's the test itself. As you can see, we've got a list of words from A to F. And we cannot take the word from the passage in this case. We have to take the words from this list. And about summary completion, it's unlike note completion where you actually focus on one part of the text. For summary completion, you have to be looking at the whole parts of the text, as it is a summary completion. It is summarized into a short passage. So now let's start. We've got the first sentence. Stella Pacini of Cambridge George Business School has been focusing on the algorithmification of jobs which rely not on production but on. So the keywords, as you can see, the strong keywords are the names. Stella Pacini, Cambridge George Business School, algorithmification. Those could be, cannot be changed or could be changed to be with some referencing words like pronouns, But in this case, we are lucky, we have them like word by word in the passage. And also rely not, which we have it changed to dependent on. Well, maybe in the question it was changed to rely not. And then we've got data and production. We've got the word production already in the question, but we are missing the word data. In the list, we don't have that word, as you can see, but we have a word which is similar or a synonym to the word data, which is information. So that is the answer. And next, we've got, while monitoring a telecommunications company, Pacini observed a growing on the recommendations made by AI as workers begin to learn through the algorithm's eyes. Algorithm's eyes, workers learn through, those are similar words. And then we've got the word instructions, which is paraphrase to recommendations in our question. And the missing word there is dependent on, and a growing dependence on, because we actually need a noun, right? In this gap, as you can see, we have to guess actually before we even jump to the part. But anyway, so dependent is an adjective, but what we need is a noun. But we are lucky, we are not just taking the word and changing its form and to match the meaning, but we actually have a list. And in there, we have a word which is similar to the meaning of dependent, which is reliance. And it's also in a noun form, reliance, not reliant. So yeah, we just put the word reliance there as the answer and it's correct. And next, meanwhile, staff are deterred from experimenting and using their own and are therefore prevented from achieving innovation. In the text, we have the words like experimentation and human instinct lead to progress and new ideas. So innovation and new ideas, they are almost the same thing. So we are sure that our answer is here. And also the words like deterred from and discouraged, they align together as well. Alright, so the word missing in our question is instinct, as we've got the word using their own. So it's obviously instinct, but we don't have it in the list, but we have a similar word, intuition. That's the answer. And finally, we've got the last one. To avoid the kind of situations which Pacini observed, researchers are trying to make AI's decision-making process easier to comprehend. So, and to increase users with regard to the technology. In the text, we got the words like understand how AI decisions are made. AI decision making, AI decisions are made. Comprehend, understand. And the only words that are missing there could be more trustworthy and transparent. That they are trying to increase. Yes, we've got that the objective is to make the AI technologies more trustworthy, so increasing. So the words like trustworthy and transparent actually applicable to AI technologies, but here we have to focus on the individuals, people, right? So for people to see that technologies are trustworthy and transparent, what should they have? They should have confidence, right? So that's the answer. To increase users' confidence with regard to the technology. And finally, I just want to give an example of sentence completion, as the rest of the other completion tasks are similar to the way of doing them as the ones which we discussed already. And here about sentence completion test, it is how it looks here. As you can see, we've got 3 different sentences and we just have to find them in the text. But the good thing is that the information in the passage appears in the same order as the questions we've got here. So you're gonna first find about daffodils, and further than that part in the passage you will find about ash trees and so on. Okay, the first question, daffodils. That is a flower from the picture here, and daffodils are likely to flower early in response to weather. So in the text we've got the words daffodils, flower, and the word early, and it was paraphrased from the word in advance from the text, and we've got the word warm winter. So that is what is missing to complete the meaning of the sentence from the question. So we just put the word warm winter weather, or just warm weather, as we are allowed to write more than 2 words. As you can see in this instruction, we can write warm weather or warm winter weather. And here I just put 2 pictures of 2 trees of our next question, which come in our next question. The first one is an ash tree, the second one is an oak. Oh wait, the first one is an oak, the second one is an ash tree. So we got here the question, if ash trees come into leaf before oak trees, the weather in will probably be wet. In the text we see oak leafing before ash. And that's exactly the opposite of what we read in the question, ash leaf before oak, but here it says oak leafing before ash. But then in the next sentence it says we see the opposite in a cold spring. Okay, good. But what we need to know that which weather, like weather in which part of the season or in which season will probably be wet. So it says, as the British know only too well, a colder summer is likely to be a rain-soaked one. So the word wet is responsive to rain-soaked. So the answer is summer. Okay, and the last one, the research was carried out using a particular species of this picture. Okay, I just put the picture there, but you won't have that picture there, right? So here in the text we've got research involving and the work done, carried out using mustard plant called Arabidopsis. So we don't say Arabidopsis because we need a species of what? Of mustard. That's the answer. Okay, that'll be it, and here I just showed the picture of the tests that I created for each type of task. You can find the links to them under this video. Thank you so much for your attention. Hope to see you in next videos. Bye.